Hello everybody. So I'm going to show you just straight up the simplest way to mod Undertale. So first off, you're gonna want to go ahead and get your Undertale mod tool. I'd recommend going onto the GitHub because they always have the most latest and up-to-date version there. Let's see here. Like let's say you're not even in the Discord, you don't know where to find it. You can just look up Undertale mod tool. Right there, top link. They have one in the GitHub. Right, and then you want to go and find releases. They'll have it somewhere. I can actually use Control F. Here we go. You're gonna want to always go ahead and try to get the stable version because the bleeding edge is generally more buggy and not as consistent. I'm using Windows, so I'm going to try and find this one, UndertaleModTool 8.3 Windows.zip. We're gonna go ahead and download that. Now, there's a lot of things you can do within Undertale ModTool. So it'll be inside of your downloads folder. It's downloading right now, so it'll take a bit. But once it's done downloading, we can close it out. So what you're gonna want to do is you're just gonna want to extract this. I'll have to censor that later. But once we're done extracting it, we'll have an Undertale mod tool right here. Now we'll just filter by type. So here's our actual mod tool.exe. This is what we're gonna need for modding the game. Now to open up your data.win, you're going to want to go into File, Open, and I have a display copy for here, but I will show you to find where yours is. You're going to want to go to your Steam apps, so this PC, OS, Program Files, Steam apps, Common, and you're going to want to find your Undertale. If it's sorted by alphabetical, it'll be right at the bottom. And you're going to want to open your data.win. Once it's done opening, you can go ahead and putz around with whatever, like, ooh. But for my example, we are going to open up the testing display copy, which I left inside my downloads. I put it inside of here, just for simplicity's sake. This is basically a brand new copy of Undertale. It'll have the same crap here, just so you know. So, like, let's say you're trying to import new sprites to the game. You want to add your new little bingus. We'll make a sprite right now. We'll, for this, we'll have to make a new folder, but this is just for, let's be safe, we'll just name it. I guess it doesn't matter the name. So, let's open up Paint, right? We'll shrink this down by a whole lot, but this will be our example sprite. So we'll go ahead and draw our little guy. It'll be like a little smiley. This is our smiler. We'll call him. Now this is important. When you're naming PNGs, you're gonna want to start by typing SPR underscore. That's just the sprite. Alright, and then you want to type in whatever your name is. I'm gonna type it as because it doesn't matter. And then the important part is we're gonna do it 0. You always start from 0 going to infinity. So we'll actually make 2 sprites for this. We'll have 0. That'll be our first sprite. And then we'll have them be angry as the second sprite. So we're gonna go save as PNG, and we're gonna change it from 0 to 1. So now we have 0 and 1. This is just proof that the name doesn't matter. It can be whatever you want to call it. When we open up our UndertaleModTool, so for importing a new sprite, we want to go to Scripts, Resource Importers, and Import Graphics. .csx. You're going to want to click that, and then continue. We can just ignore that. We go to our downloads. We have our folder right here. We're gonna want to select that, and let's see here. What's it called? Just click yes. We can ignore it. So at the bottom of our sprites list, we will have our new sprite, SBR, right there, with our two sprites. So let's say, what do you want to do with this? Let's make our sprite here, which I will copy the name of, an NPC. So what we're going to want to do now is game objects. We're going to want to add a new object. We'll call this one obj underscore. Sorry, my keys don't work sometimes. We'll call it uwu. So we have our new object here. And for our sprites, like you can see it has name, sprite. We're going to drag this thing all the way right into here, and we'll have our sprite. We have to tick on visible, so parent. So for Undertale specifically, you're going to have solid for this one. Readable solid, here we go. You're going to want to drag that into your parent code. And we'll also open that up here, and we'll open up the original uwu. So we have uwu and readable solid here. So we're going to want to copy its create code, beat for beat. So we're going to copy, paste, copy, and paste. So we now have that. And if we go back, we're going to do the same thing for all of its other code. So for the alarm code, we're going to go ahead and copy this into its alarm. But for ours specifically, we're going to change this to 0 for now. Global.msc will be 0. This is just for showing off. But you might need to have it changed depending on what you're trying to do. And then for the step code, copy, go back, add a new step. We're going to double click the little plus arrow, double click again, paste. So now we have all this as our start. We have our new NPC, uwu, right here, and we're going to go straight into its alarm. And we're going to add this little new line of code right under global face emotion 0. We're going to type global dot msg left bracket 0 right bracket is equal to, and then we're going to type 2 quotation marks. So that's going to be our what the thing is actually going to say. So we'll just say uwu testing. And then if we want to have 2 dialogues, we're going to type in a backslash, one new line, global dot msg, and then this time it'll be 1. So this will be our second dialogue. We'll know it's the second dialogue because we'll type in second dialogue. And then we're going to type slash %%. That's going to show that it's the end of the dialogue. And we'll go ahead and we're done. That's all we really need to do for this part. If you want to have more, you can change this to something like global.message to, and you can have the third dialogue. We can even do some funny stuff with little testing things like this. If you do percent to the power of a number, it'll add a little wait period. If we add an and sign, that'll go to the next line. We can do the third dialogue, the second line. Let's say you want to change the text color. Oh, that'll be fun. You just go backslash, and then we'll do We'll have to make it white at first so it doesn't do a flash, but we can do \y and then \w. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Um, but wow, we have our text changing color. But now what do we actually do with uwu? Because I don't know where to put it. What if I'm trying to put it in a random room? So that's why we're going to open up rooms and we're going to go to, for just the testing purposes, we're going to put it in area 1. So under game objects, we're going to want to leave that open. And we'll have our little object here, uwu. So we're going to go ahead and drag you right into here. We'll be able to see it. And I'll leave it right there. That is our uwu in general inside of our step code. Here, S on CR script depth. This script will, for Undertale, it's gonna push them to the front because otherwise it'll be impossible to see. But you'll see how that works in a minute. So let's go ahead and save our work. We're gonna put save, we're gonna go into here, Undertale, I put it inside my mod manager, mods, Undertale, showcase for modding, and we're gonna want to save over this data.win. Do you want to replace it? Yes. Now that we've saved it, we can reopen this, go back to our downloads, and we can actually run it to see if it worked. So here's our Undertale. I'd full screen, but it wouldn't work as well. We're gonna reset just so we can show it off. All right, so we're in game, and there they are. Uwu testing, second dialog, the third dialog, the second line. And we can see it work. And the depth is working as well because Frisk can stand in front of it. And if you were to, in theory, go behind it, it would go in front of you. We would need to change the mask settings for that. That isn't as important right now because we're really just trying to get this off the ground. So we've now imported our little guy. If we want to do some other stuff for it, we could, like there's scripts to detect if it's talking, but I can't remember what it's called right now. I might remember at a later time, but let's do some other stuff, like importing a sound. So we're going to want to go back to resource importers, import single sound. That's fine. Let's go ahead and import this wave file. This is a song for my game, but it'll work just as fine. Here. Gonna prove it works if you want. Fire that. Here. We can click the play button, and we can hear it works. So let's actually go back to uwu, and we can show how to play sounds. Now, we'll do it inside of our step code. So like as soon as you start talking to it, it'll play the little song. So we can type SMD play, um, left and right. And then we're gonna type in muse underscore sans pre-race. Ta-da! So if we go ahead and save it again, back into manager, into mods, in here, here, here. We can replace it again, and we can play with it again. So let's see how it worked. Did it save? Did it not save? Let's test. I'm gonna reset. And we're gonna have a little guy here. And when we click our interact button, ta-da, they will play the song. So as you can see, it's working just as intended. We can do our little picture dance to celebrate us working so hard. But this maybe you're just not looking at NPCs or change dialogue, because that's boring, right? Let's say you want to make a cutscene. Well, cutscenes are big, and they're a little bit harder to do, but I can still help you with it. So we're gonna go back. Let's make a new object. We're gonna call this one obj dumb scene, because we're gonna feel a little dumb making it, but we know that we're all working through this together, and we're gonna be super smart about it. We're gonna go ahead, and they're usually organized like this, but there's a sprite called SPR event. You're gonna want to drag that into the sprite. Now you'll notice we don't actually need a parent for this. That's fine. But what we will need is it is what am I thinking? Collision. Here we go. Double click. So this we're gonna need to change it to frisk, which is obj underscore sprites, but in game objects main Kara. So this is going to be our frisk. So we're going to drag that in here. Now let's say that it's just going to trigger and frisk is going to explode. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to reopen back. I'm sorry, we're going to go into our create new code and we're going to do some stuff here. So we're going to need our tracking variable. This is to see where in the scene we're at. So we're going to type con is 0. This means that the scene hasn't started yet and that, what do you call it? This scene hasn't started yet and we're doing nothing. All right. So we're gonna go back and we're gonna open up into dumb scene collision. Now we're gonna type if con is 0, and then we're gonna type two and signs. This means that we're looking for if con is 0 and if global dot interact is 0. That means if frisk can move and we haven't done the scene before, what we're going to do is we're going to make con is 1 and global dot interact is 1. So that means frisk can't move anymore and the con is going to be 1. So we're going to go back again. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make a new step event. This will just be a regular step event. We don't need to change this. So if con is 1, so that means if we've triggered the event, we're going to do, here, for now, I'll just make global message 0 is quote unquote howdy, but we're going to borrow some code from Uwu right now. Here, we'll just well, no, we don't need the first line, but we can copy this, you can add this, that, and paste. You can remove all this dialogue over here. Alrighty, so that. We're going to instance create my dialogger. So we're going to have something say howdy. Let's say we want to make Flowey say howdy. Do you see this global typer right here? This is what we're gonna be using here. So let's go find our typers. Typer. You can type this into no. It's looking for script underscore text type. So inside of scripts, script text type, we're going to open that in a new tab. We're going to open up the code associated with it. Let's see here. Sound text 2, 1, 1, tutorial 1. Aha, here we go. This is the Flowey fight. And here we go. This is the one we're looking for. This is Global Typer 9, which is the main Flowey talking voice. So we're going to go back to our dumb scene. We're going to change our Global Typer to 9. Then it's going to have the Flowey noise. And then, what's it called? Now we have our Flowey talking, and we're going to also want to put con is 1 or 2. And then we'll go if con is 2 and instance underscore exists. Am I misspelling that? Hold up. Let me try to remember how it's spelled. Oops. If con is 2, con is 3. We're gonna leave that as a temporary for now, so it doesn't erase our progress. We're gonna look for I think it's instance exists. Yeah, here we go. We're gonna copy this just so we make sure we don't mess it up. And instance exists obj underscore writer, which is the main thing that the game uses to write dialog, is false. We're gonna go ahead and do our next shenanigans. Here. Let's actually try making something appear. So let's just try to find a Flowey. That's flowery. Being a little silly. But here we go. Let's try to find a Flowey that just sits there. Game objects. Flowey face, TV, body pair? Is this it? No. Valor. No. No. Let's try to find a flower. Oh, here we go. Flower Talker 1. So we're going to take this and we're going to put it inside of here. Remember, this will be our simple scene, so it won't be perfect. Instance underscore create. And we're going to go, let's see, it would be like 120, 120, boom. And then we're going to make this flower appear. And we'll copy the dialog code from here and we'll paste it down here. But we're going to change something here. We're going to make it say, I'm Flowey. Then we're going to type and for a new line. Let's append it with some little stuff here. I'm Flowey. This Flowey, the flower. And you know, we'll even do the yellow text. So we're going to use slash capital W. When Flowey says Flowey, we're going to do slash Y. And when his text is over, slash W. Slash Y and slash W. So now you can say, I'm Flowey, Flowey the flower, and we're going to have a little flower talker down here. But let's say we want to make it Flowey's face. So for face choice, controls which face it is. So we're going to remove the 0 and make it a 1. So now it'll be Flowey's face inside a little dialog box. And we can just copy this code and we'll put it down here. Change this con to a 3. And boom, boom. And we'll copy this, paste it there. Con is 4. And instance create, we'll change this from Flowey to sans_room. And we'll put him a little bit closer to where the player would be. Remember, bigger number is down and to the right, smaller number is up and to the left. And then we'll have fans come in and say he is under typer 13. Face choice is number 3. We'll have him wink for this one, which would be under face emotion 2. And we'll have him say, um, as it's a dumb joke, but this will help at least establish how it works. And then we can go ahead and copy this, paste, and we'll make this con is 4, change this to 5, remove the Flowey talker, and we'll make, I think this will make Flowey angry with number 3, and we'll have Flowey say, I dislike Sans. How could he say that? But now we're almost done. So we're gonna finish this off with, we're gonna change this to a 5, change this to a 6, remove the instance create, and we'll make Sans say something because he's very sad that Flowey hurt his feelings. We'll change this to a 3. Or no, 4. Now Sans is gonna be all edgy because he's so angry at him. Stan is all angry and he's gonna have his shadowy eyes. Um, ooh. And then we'll just go if con is 6 and instance underscore exists obj underscore right at is false. And here's what you do to finish the scene. You type con is, and we'll do it without. That doesn't match any number inside of this con that we have so far. So we'll just make this really big number. That doesn't matter, but a little bit. And then we'll make global dot interact is 0. And you know what? If we want to make sure that this scene is fully cleaned up, we can go instance destroy obj underscore Flowey talker 1 and instance destroy obj underscore sans underscore room. All right, so now that we've done all that, that's our scene. Now you're gonna make some changes for it if you're gonna be using it in an actual game, but this is just for showing off. So let's go ahead and reset once more. Of course, our numbers will be a little low. See, this is the part about modding that you forget sometimes. Oops, I forgot to actually put it in the room. So we're going to drag our dump scene into the room. And this is game. So what we're going to want to do is, let's say that we wanted Frisk to walk through this corridor and make it trigger. So we're actually going to change this scale from 1. This is how long it is, and this is how tall it is. We're going to make this scale like 9. Because let's imagine it's a really big hallway they can walk through. But we don't know exactly where they're going to step. That's fine. We will actually end up changing some variables within here so that the scene makes a little bit more sense overall. I'm going to go into this step. Alright, let's see here. We're going to change this one to 380 and change this one to 400. Just so it makes a little bit more sense of what's going on. So let's go ahead and actually save, because we forgot to save putting it in the room last time, because we're all silly billies. This happens. Don't try to stress it, but now that we've got it put inside the room, we can run it. Got an Undertale, we'll reset, click yes, and we're gonna load right in. You'll see it right here. Oops, looks like I got the wrong face, but that's alright. Stuff happens. I also got the wrong sans text. And the scene finished. We can see that it worked almost as we wanted it to, but we're gonna have to make changes. This is the process of debugging. So we're gonna close out our Undertale, and we're gonna go right back into UTMT. Oh no, let's see here. We got the wrong sans dialog. That's because I messed it up. What we should have done was 17. See here, sometimes we're a little bit of a silly billy. We forget what numbers go where. But you know what? Let's go ahead and make sure we verify where it goes. So go right back into script text type. See here, 13. 13. See here. You can tell because this is the Toriel noise, and this is the color black. So that means it's a battle Toriel. That happens. Here we go. 17 is white. Sans. That means that's the regular Sans talking. So boom shakalaka, we now have our Sans. But if you remember, they were too high. So we're gonna have to push them down a little bit. Let's go 180 and 180. If you also remember that our Flowey was the wrong face. So if it's not 1, it's 2. Make this one 2. Alright. But all of our sands were working just fine. But let's say maybe that this face wasn't the good for the tone. So instead of it being a number 2, we're going to change it to a 1, which is going to be a smile side. Okay, they actually have a great little thing in the FAQ of the Discord that we're going to go ahead and look at. I need to remember what the faces were, but I can't remember. Let's go into pin messages. They actually pinned this a long time ago, but it's so useful. Let's see here. First, sans faces. So here's 0, 1, 2. This is a great reference. Flowey, let's see here. What do we have as our Flowey face? When he says, I don't like you. We chose face emotion number 3. So for face emotion number 3, 1, 2, here we go. I dislike you. So let's say we thought 3 didn't work and we wanted number 4. Let's go and pick number 4. And we'll even make his dialogue fit more with his more evil face. Let's hear. Or stance. Let's double check. I wanted wink, smile, sigh. So that's when let's see here. So we have the normal face. Here we go. Smile side. That's the one I wanted. That's E1. We'll double check. Face emotion is 1. That's the correct face. That's great. Now we know exactly what's going on and where and how it's doing it. So we're going to save data.win. We're going to go ahead and save that again. Open it up in here. We're going to run our Undertale. So maybe this time it'll work properly. That's what we're hoping for, at least. Ta-da! We're back in the game. Here's our thing. There's our little fly. Look at him. He's so happy. And there's hands. Wow, how could Flowey say something so mean? Ta-da! And that's our scene. And our guy works. Ooh, we can all celebrate. But we know that everything works now. And we can even go into the next round. And the game will crash or anything. So, that's the bare minimum modding tutorial that I've given you guys today. I hope that it was enough and helped really introduce you into how modding works, or at least what you need to look out for. If you like today's episode, like and subscribe, and give me $13. Take care.